Most of us go through life thinking the world is, well, fair. That if you're a good person, you work hard, good things are just going to happen. But let's be real for a second. Reality is almost never that simple. The world doesn't always reward good intentions. It rewards understanding. It rewards intelligence. So let's dive into what that really looks like.
Machiavelli knew this centuries ago. Power couldn't care less about your kindness. It responds to your ability to see a situation for what it truly is and to act with precision. It rewards the people who actually understand the game being played.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? So many people are out there operating with a simple, straightforward set of rules, and they expect everyone else to do the same. But the world, well, it's a much more complex board, with various strategic players. And if you're playing checkers in a chess game, you're not just at a disadvantage. You're pretty much destined to lose.
So how do you make that shift? How do you go from being a pawn, just getting moved around by others, to a player who actually controls their own destiny? The answer is in a mindset called dark intelligence. And let's be really clear about this. This is not about becoming some kind of villain. It's about becoming strategic. See, dark intelligence isn't something you're born with. It's forged in the fire of things like betrayal, disappointment, and failure. It's the strength you build from the very pain that was meant to break you. It's the wisdom to listen more than you speak, to observe while everyone else is arguing, and to plan while others get swept away by their emotions. Think of it as a shield, not a sword. And this is what it looks like in practice. The naive person reacts emotionally. They crack under pressure. But the strategist, using dark intelligence, they absorb that pressure and actually convert it into strength. They don't just hear words, they listen for the intent, the leverage, the unspoken truth behind them. They see the entire board.
Okay, so how do you actually cultivate this mindset? We're about to break down the 8 core principles, and you should think of this as your personal toolkit for navigating this complex world, for protecting yourself, and for achieving your goals with real intelligence.
First up, calculated opacity. Now, this isn't about lying or deception. It's about understanding that your full plans, your full capabilities, that's a form of currency. For example, if you're pitching a new project, you don't reveal every single feature you'd planned for the next 5 years. You give them the compelling vision for phase 1. This creates intrigue, and it stops people from picking apart ideas that aren't even fully formed yet. You control the narrative, and that little bit of mystery makes your next move so much more powerful.
All right, principle number 2 builds on that, the adaptive persona. Think about it. You don't talk to a data scientist the same way you talk to a creative director, right? With the scientist, you might lead with stats and logic. With the director, you'd probably start with a story or a powerful visual. This isn't being fake, it is being a multilingual communicator. By adapting your style, you're not changing who you are, you're just making damn sure your message actually gets heard. Listen to this. Whatever you are afraid to lose has control over you. That is the absolute core of the detachment principle. And it applies to so much more than a salary negotiation. Imagine you've poured your soul into a creative idea at work. If you're so attached to it that you can't handle any criticism, you become fragile. But if you can detach your ego from the idea itself, you can take in the feedback, pivot, and make the idea even stronger. Detachment gives you the clarity to make the best decision, not just the one that protects your feelings. I absolutely love this next one. It's called silent leverage. Most people think power is loud. They think it's about demanding attention in every single meeting. But as this says, true power doesn't shout, it whispers. It's the influence you build when no one is even looking. And here's how that works. Instead of always talking about how valuable you are, you just quietly become the person who always delivers, the one who solves the problems that other people can't. Your reputation will start to do the talking for you. Or in a conversation, instead of jumping to defend your position, just try a strategic pause. That silence, it often makes the other person reveal more, and it makes your response, when you finally give it, carry so much more weight. Your quiet competence becomes your loudest statement.
This one is a total game changer. Most people listen just long enough so they can figure out what they're going to say next. A strategist listens to understand the emotion behind the words. So when a colleague says, "I'm just buried in work," the average person says, "Yeah, me too." But a strategic response is something like, "Wow, it sounds like you're feeling completely overwhelmed." By echoing that underlying feeling, you show them you truly hear them. And that builds a powerful bond of trust that is the foundation of real influence.
Okay, now this is probably the most controversial principle, so let's be really clear. This is not a license to be unethical. It's about understanding that the nice option isn't always the right one. For instance, imagine a manager who avoids giving tough feedback to a team member because they don't want to hurt their feelings. That feels nice in the moment, but the long-term result? The person fails, and the whole team suffers. A strategic leader makes the harder, less nice choice to give that direct, constructive feedback because it leads to a better outcome for everyone. The focus is on the greater good, not just on looking good.
In a world where everybody broadcasts their every thought, holding back is a superpower. Seriously, controlled exposure means treating your skills and achievements like strategic assets. If you show off every single talent you have in the first week of a new job, that becomes your baseline. People just take it for granted. But if you reveal new abilities over time, you solve an unexpected tech problem or show a hidden talent for public speaking, you create this impression of constant growth and hidden depths, and that is far more valuable.
And the final principle ties everything together: outcome obsession. Think about how many meetings get completely derailed by arguments over tiny details that don't matter. The strategist is constantly, quietly asking themselves, does winning this argument actually help us reach our main goal? If the answer is no, they let it go. They focus their energy on that 20% of actions that are going to deliver 80% of the results. They're loyal to the goal, not to one specific plan. If a path gets blocked, they just find another way.
So, there you have it, the 8 principles. This is a powerful toolkit, no doubt about it. But with great power, as they say, comes great responsibility. This isn't just about winning, it's about how you play the game.
And that's the question that's probably been floating around in your head, right? After hearing all of this, does learning these principles mean you're supposed to become some cold, manipulative person?
No, absolutely not. And this right here is maybe the most important takeaway of all. The purpose of dark intelligence is not to control other people. It's to make sure that no one can control you. It's about recognizing the game so you can't be played. It's about protecting your own freedom and the interest of the people you care about in a world that doesn't always play fair.
And in the end, that's what this all boils down to. This knowledge is a neutral tool, kind of like a hammer. You can use a hammer to build a beautiful house, or you can use it to shatter a window. The morality isn't in the tool, it's in the hand that holds it. And that choice, well, now it's yours.